All right, this is Mark. This is completely an unplanned video, like usually my recordings for reviews are, but this is Dan versus Gabe, and I figured just before the game, I was talking to some people on Dan's team about what a force is and how a force works. So I thought maybe just walking through their most previous game, and just trying to highlight some things, might be helpful, maybe not. Obvious disclaimer: I am definitely not some global authority on anything, so I'm not pretending to be. And if I do call anybody out, that's obviously nothing personal. Just kind of pointing out different things and treating this as a learning opportunity. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. Volume down low here. Or off. I think I fixed my player. So yeah, I can go forward now. So starting up here, pretty much every time that we do play a game at any like league level, you're going to force right-handed flick. Both teams are on this sideline, so the way that we do this is we break the field into two halves. So in half, and we take away one side of the field, that is the closed or the break side of the field. So the mark will be taking away that side of the field, positioning him or herself on this side of the thrower, and then leaving the other side as the open side where throws will go off for free, so that downfield defenders can have an easier time because they only have to actively contest half the field instead of the entire field, which is a nightmare to do. So what I'm going to use some easier terminology. This sideline here, both teams have their stuff and their sideline people, water bottles and whatnot on the sideline. So we call that the home sideline. And the sideline that the camera is on is away from that sideline, so it's called the away sideline. So here's the home sideline. The camera's on the away sideline. So the thrower is forcing, or sorry, the mark is throwing. I'm going to start over. The mark is forcing the thrower to throw to the away side of the field. So this is called forcing away. When you're doing a force as a mark, you're going to align yourself such that if you started to push, you would be pushing the thrower towards the forced side. So we're forcing home. We're forcing away. So the mark is going to push, not actually push, but be ready to push the thrower towards that away sideline. I think I can take a snapshot of this for there we go. All right, I think I saved for my clickbait thumbnail, baby. So this will come up later. Hopefully my clicks aren't too loud. So that throw went up for free, as we see. Oh, this goes back a little more than I thought. All right, that's fine. So coming back again, we can see this mark come down. This throw to the forced side is going off for free. That's a great mark. So right here, who this is, I don't know people well enough to call people by name. So even if I do know someone by name, I'm going to pretend like I don't know them just so it's less embarrassing for me. So I know who these guys are actually. So what we want to see here is instead of coming up flat and trying to take away the whole field, I would love to see the mark come down and force over here. Because if throws can come up to this area of the field, it's going to cause chaos downfield. So right here is, yeah, that was actually an ideal situation for a defense. Can I just go back up a second? Okay. So the idea of a force then is we want to, I'm going to mute this. So we want there we go. We want the offense to, over time, move the disc closer and closer and closer to that forced sideline. Because now a proper mark, which the wall is like right here. Like this is the sideline. And the mark is going to be lining up, taking away this space. So I'm exaggerating, but this leaves a very narrow lane to go in. So as a defense, we want the throws to move towards that forced sideline. That's great. Great job getting down to him. We want to force this to happen. So this is a dangerous position for an offense. Doesn't mean you can't position yourself here, but you want to get the disc off early, and that's dangerous. So, oh yeah, and this is a lot farther back. I'm not gonna use that feature anymore. So, ooh, spoiler for what happened there. All right, bear with me here. I'm playing this in Opera, so we don't get the like on YouTube's because all the buffering is super annoying. So right here, I paused at the worst moment, but right here, we can see once again the disc is on the sideline. The mark is right here. So functionally, assuming that like for the throwing cone that he's taking away, this is for all intents and purposes the break side of the field. And this area is for all intents and purposes the open side of the field. Which means throws in this green space are going up for free from the mark's perspective. And throws to the yellow area are being contested by the mark. So as downfield defenders then, we want to position ourselves to prioritize defending this open space. So we can see here, we have a receiver cutting into that open space, and the defender is behind him. And that makes it very difficult because when that throw comes up, and the throw is coming up, it's uncontested, it's free, it makes it extremely difficult because now this defender has to sprint all the way in front of him and make up that ground in a very short period of time. And for most cases, it's impossible to do so in a timely manner. So what I would love to see in the future is our downfield defenders doing their best to stay on the forced side of their receiver. So the receiver's here. He looks like a ghost. Instead of our receiver being here, or defender being here, I'd love our defender here. Because now, if a throw were to come into that forced space, you can see you kind of have to go through our defender. And that's exactly what we want, because it makes it very difficult for the disc to get there. And if this receiver were to, slam on the brakes and come back this way, that's okay. Because we're putting ourselves then at a disadvantage for that cut. But like we said, when that throw were to go to that break side, it's going to be super high and floaty. It's going to be in the air for a while before landing, which gives that receiver plenty of time to catch up. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, don't worry. I'll be talking about it more as we go. It's kind of one of those things, it'll just click one day. So this throw is offline. It should have been a low throw for the easy completion. Instead, they threw it high, and he just wasn't able to recover to it, which it's okay. It happens. So here, coming up here, looking for what the force is going to be. In a league, I'm comfortable always anticipating a flick force, a right-handed flick force, obviously because the flick is the hardest throw for a right-hander. And most people are right-handed. So we can see then, to recognize, the break side of the field is here. The mark is not letting these throws come up for free. They're going to be contested, they're going to be floaty, they're going to be inaccurate compared to the open side of the field. And then the open side of the field is here. This is the open side. So as defenders, and we actually can see a very good example of this, we can see defenders positioning themselves on the forced side of their receivers in all cases here. Because we have our receivers, and then we have our defenders, which are the other team here. So those defenders then are in a position where in order for a receiver to attack this open space, they have to go through a defender, which makes it much more difficult to do. And that's kind of the whole rub. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So that was a handler miscommunication. I like that we wanted to move the disc early, and I'm saying we because I'm just going from Dan's team's perspective. Gabe's team, I have, obviously I have complete respect for Gabe's team. I'm doing this just for newer players, so if it sounds like I have a Dan's team bias, please don't read into that. I'm just trying to, come from an educational perspective here. So, yeah, so that was just a handler miscommunication. As far as she didn't know the disc was coming up until it was already in the air. So then, yeah, it just comes to the sideline. And then once again here, what we need to have is a hard force come up, protecting that break side of the field. Always right-handed flick is what we're forcing. So here, this is an away force, because we're forcing towards the sideline that our camera is on. So that's an away force. But you can see here the mark's not set up for that. So it's dangerous for these receivers. And these defenders are in a dangerous position as a result of that. However, the throw just gets in there. And honestly, she was, whoever, I don't know her name, but she, who is that? I can't even see. It was a dangerous throw, or dangerous position to be in. So she was kind of in a no-win, which it happens. Big thing about Ultimate Frisbee, it is a very rigged game. It's always in favor of the offense by a considerable margin. So as a defender, never feel discouraged by giving up points. No defense will ever completely suffocate an offense. The mantra is good offense beats perfect defense. So the throw comes down. And once again, it came down here, so they're going to be forcing away. I'm going to wait till the disc gets a little more visible before I pause and drew it. Okay, the disc got thrown away there. That was just a lack of options. I think the thrower ran out of time. So here, once again, setting up, pretend he didn't just throw it. The mark is going to be setting up to force him to throw right-handed flick. So we're forcing, this is going to be a home force. So we're pushing towards the home sideline. So this is the open space, and this is the break side of the field. So downfield, we can know to protect the open side of the field, or we want to really defend the open side of the field. So yeah, that throw came up for free on the open side, which meant the throw went up for free and the catch was there for free, which that's always a dangerous position to be in. Same thing right there. Coming up here, I want to see when these are happening as a, in a position here. Here, our defender is actually in a good position to start with. On the open side of the defender, above and below is not a huge deal, mostly just with that. However, he's reacting to the receiver's motion here. So he's watching his receiver. The receiver starts sprinting towards that open space. And then the defender is reacting to that. Whereas defenders, we need to be anticipating that they're going to attack this open space. So position ourselves aggressively and early, and so that we're not reacting, because that's actually all that happens here. He was in good position, but he wasn't quite ready for this to happen and gets that extra step in there. So by the time that he starts saying, oh, he's cutting, I should start reacting to this, it's just a little too late. Which, that was a scary throw in his defense. That was scary. So that was a scary throw. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a high throw. So, okay, I haven't watched this game, so I'm reacting real time, and I'm not really coming in with a game plan. Yep, so Gabe is putting on a great mark right now. Right here, forcing right-hand flick. So forcing away is the force. Yep. And right there, the thrower wanted to make a throw to the home sideline. Gabe was having none of it. Great job, Gabe. That's exactly what we want to see. And I can give you another example whenever we get into a more comfortable camera angle. Oh, there's a turnover there. Yep. So right here is actually a change in the force. What some people like to do is try to do a force sideline, but it's generally a scary thing to do. What we want to do is keep the same force for the entirety of a point. So we want to be forcing right-handed flick, which would be a home force. Now the question is, for when he's on the sideline, is do I want to position myself like here on him? Because there's no throw going to this sideline anyway. So what do I do? And the answer is generally you just face guard him, stay right in the front of him, just make sure no throws happen around this side. You're still responsible for the sideline, but the boundaries are helping you. The only risk is when you position yourself here, you're actually conceding the break side to him, and that's very dangerous downfield, because our defenders and receivers, if there was a receiver right here, our defender is going to be diligently putting himself here. which is at a disadvantage then, because this receiver then can cut into the space for free. Just if that makes sense. If it doesn't, again, please don't be discouraged if this doesn't click right away. It definitely takes time to learn this. But fortunately, I will be making this video obnoxiously long and giving you plenty of time to see some examples. So right here, this is a good example of the correct mark. Great force here. Really holding the line this way. We're pushing them towards the home because this is a home force. So great mark. Yep. That was a scary throw, but you saw that was not a, it's not like it was a bad throw, but it wasn't a high percentage throw. It was kind of zipped up at a weird angle quickly. Watch it right here. It was super bladey. The thrower had to make a scary catch right into a defender. And this is the mantra for what to focus on defense. On defense, you never can force a turnover, but you can force low percentage throws. And that is absolutely what we want. We want to force low percentage throws to get turnovers over time. So we just have to trust in the process. This throw worked. This throw will not work every time. So this was a great defensive play. And if, even if they score here, I'm going to tell my defense, hey, you did your job on that because that was a low percentage throw. That's exactly what I want to see. Yep. So right here, downfield, then that was a free downfield pass because once again, the break side is this way. We're forcing home. So the away side of the field is the break side. The home side of the field is the open side of the field. So we don't want our receivers to have an advantage on the open side of the field because that throw is going to come up for free. So for an example right here, our brave defender here needs to be very careful because this receiver is ultimately going to want to attack that open space. So we want to anticipate that and be ready to take that away. If all of these lines aren't incredibly confusing, I don't know what is. I will be better at erasing lines. Just to draw it a little clearer then. The receiver here wants to attack this open space, which I'm going to draw with a big circle, this open space. So the defender wants to position him or herself here to make it much more difficult because the receiver has to go through that defender to get there. So that's the concept of it. So good defense. Yeah, that was a tough defensive position there. Basically, when your receiver hangs out in the open space here, you really just want to be always attacking. So right here, this is a little bit of a overly committal position here. What I would like to see is the defender here concede more break side space. And it sounds counterintuitive saying, I want you to give up more. But the biggest thing is you never want to get beat deep in this area here. That is the number one priority. So if the receiver is going to cut this way and I'm trailing by a step or two, I can live with that. I don't want to try to take away everything and get my hips out of position here. Because you see our defender's hips are facing really, let me erase these lines again to make it more clear what's happening. Our defender's hips are facing this way. The enemy receiver team, his hips are facing this way. So therefore, it's very easy for this defender to come out and get to this open space. And that's ultimately what's going to happen here. And it's so easy to do also. It's just a split second. Like he just took one step, and sometimes that's all it takes to get that space there. So, it was a good effort. It was a high effort defense, but that was kind of the mental aspect of it where focus on taking away that open space at all costs and don't give them that open space. So for that example, if they would throw a pass to the break side, it'd have to be a hammer. You have other people there to help you, so not a big deal. All right, so as we come down the field here, and this is something where handling can be difficult, our number one priority is right now, and excuse me for my cough and sniffles. Same sickness as before. I'm having trouble getting over it. So We have the disc here. There's no defense yet. Our priority is we want to gain yards, as many as we can, and get the disc as far downfield with uncontested passes as possible. So that's the number one priority right here. So we're making passes, but we're not really gaining yards. But then again, the defense is set up, so I guess that's not a huge deal. So we got a little bit past the break, but not too much. So here we are in a vertical stack on offense. The other team, Gabe's team, is doing a good job. Flick force, which is forcing home. Forcing home. So if I sound like a broken record, hopefully just seeing these examples is going to help. We see our mark, or their mark, is here, pushing towards the home sideline. So it's a force home. This is the break side of the field, and this is the open side of the field. So we don't want passes to come, or we don't want cuts to go into that open space, but we are going to allow throws to happen to that open space. So hopefully that isn't getting annoying. So yeah, so the throw got up to the open side of the field. And right here, that I believe that's Chase there. He's in a difficult position because, like I said, the defense wants passes to go to the forced side of the field, because now suddenly the open space is super narrow and the break side of the field is super big. Like, all of this is a break side, and that's very, very advantageous for the defense. That's exactly, as a defense, that's what you want. So for offense, your number one priority is to get the disc off of the four-side sideline at all costs. So right here, we see here that we want a handler cut happening here. However, the defender is completely taking this away. So what I would love to see here, instead of trying to stay here and force the issue, I would love to see you clear super hard out of that space. Force your defender to come with you. And if your defender doesn't come with you, you're poached and you can just come around and get a free pass. For example, if your defender were to try to stay here and cheese it. So that's what I want. So I want to see you make this cut away, because right now the problem is seeing you in this space here. Now, I think is this Dan? I think this is Dan come in. Now Dan's in a difficult position because looking at you, there's nowhere for him to cut, because your defender is taking up this space. But if you clear out of the space, suddenly now our other handler can come in and make a cut to help our thrower, whichever one he wants to do. And that's very, very important to see. So so the coaching point here is clear the space out so that there's somewhere to go. Because here it's a high in the stall count. Chase had nowhere to go. That was a scary situation to be in. Yeah, so that was actually a really great cut by Chase. Good for you. So after this throw goes up, which again is a scary situation. Recognizing what they're conceding. So this is a poachy situation. So the receiver's here, and the defender has run out all the way over here. So at this point, Chase is what's called being poached. Nobody's actively guarding you, so you can actually cut anywhere you want. You have the option to go deep. If you go around him, you could slam on the brakes and get a pass, but you don't generally want to do that. So Chase did the best option to come around for that reset and move the disc towards the break side of the field. So great recognition here that there's nobody here. He looks up, says, "Hey, nobody's guarding me. I'm going to go get the disc for free." And this is a great position to be in. Oh, scary. The throw is a little offline, but that's okay. But now, once we're, as an offense, you're on the break side of the field. That's a very comfortable place to be. You want to be on the break side of the field then, because then you have a bunch of open space to work with. Big deep throw didn't work out. That's okay. It happens. Excuse me. Yep. So right now the force is away or towards the camera. Should be So that's a break throw that just went up there. And yeah, so right here, this defender had good positioning, but because that break throw went up, it ended up being free. So that's the problem with letting break throws come up. And that's why we as a team prioritize that over all else. Letting this works. Yep, so I would like to see a quick seal, which is good. And so handlers are going to get throws like that off sometimes, as long as you don't want people to gain yards upfield when that happens. But this is where the game is, it's just a rigged game. So you ideally we want to see more of a commitment by our mark to get all the way around, protect your right hand, as some teams will call it when you're doing a flick force. Don't let the disc get around you under any circumstances. To really commit to moving your feet and getting around and not let this throw go up. Because ideally, if this throw doesn't get up, their offense is in a dangerous situation to be in. So right here, as soon as we catch an interception, which is a great defensive play, it's generally good to slow down and just take your time. Because right here, all we did was we just tried to rush it out, and that was why it was a turnover. Not a huge deal, but stay nice and calm. And the same thing just happened here. It's, you get excited when you cause a turnover because, this is an exciting game. You pick up the disc, you want to just move it right away. You want to start running again. Yeah, just take a nice deep breath, pick up the disc, you're good to go. So I don't want to beat anyone up over that one. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, so that handler positioning is a little bit too close a lot of the times. That was actually the same miscommunication that happened up here to start the game, except this was a more upfield one. That just comes with time, just understanding who's got the open space, who's making a cut. Those things work themselves out over time. Yep, so right here, a great mark. I'm going to probably start chilling with drawing these up every time. Hopefully this is helping. If not, definitely let me know in the comments, and I will try to maybe explain it better or less annoyingly. But the force right-hand flick, which is an away force. So the break side of the field is all of this. This is all the break side of the field. The open side of the field, then because this is a home side force, they're forcing home, all of this is the open side of the field or the forced side of the field. So throws to that open space are going up without a contest from the mark. Therefore, what we need to see is what I'm seeing right here, and I see the receiver here and the defender. I'll draw it with color coding, so the red is Gabe's team. The receiver is here and the defender is here, so that if this receiver tries to make a cut and attack this open space and to try to get a throw that's going to come up and it'll be a nice accurate free throw, our defender is in a great position to be in front of that. And that's the big thing we want to take away, and that's really a beneficial thing for us to be doing. So yeah, so great defensive positioning. I love it. Unfortunately, that swing went over to the break side, so it broke down, but it's not a big deal. It happens. Ooh, was that a hand block? That was nice. I love that. Okay, this is gonna get long, so I'm not gonna stop and watch it again. That was a great block. Yep, so right here, we want, keep it off the force side. So they are going to be forcing away, or they're forcing home right now. And these throws are these are difficult throws here. Chase is super athletic though. So once they solidify these throws, he's going to be very dangerous very soon once he learns these concepts. So that's exciting. Right here, we want to force right-handed flick. So we're forcing away. So I would love to see the mark scoot around more, be on this side of the thrower, pushing towards the away sideline. That's what I would love to see in this situation. Because right here, that's a break side throw. So even with good positioning, that's going to break the defense very quickly. Yep, so yeah, excellent mark there. The throw goes up to the fore side, and that's okay. Yep, once again, we had an open cutter on the open side of the field. Unfortunate, but again, it's difficult to play defense, so it happens. So right here, yep, if the mark sets up, it's going to be a difficult situation because the open space is like these lanes, which is very narrow, and the space being taken away is all of this, which is it's good. It's much easier to defend. Yep. And the fact that the space was so narrow is what let, I think it was Chase that got the D in there, get in there and make a play, which is great. Wow, that was a great throw. All right, yep, so once again, the force is right-hand flick, so force is home, is towards, our sideline or sideline with our stuff on it. So right here, I would love to see this mark slide a little over, take away that break side a little more. Right now, conceding this area here is dangerous because the defenders downfield are going to be out of position. We can see here, it's a little blurry. It's hard for me to make out what they are. Hopefully, maybe on the recording it'll be a little nicer, but it's hard to see here. But the receiver is currently on the correct position here. The receiver is here, or the defender's here, the receiver's here. So if the receiver makes a cut to that open space, defender's going to be in front of it. But because this the break side is open now, this throw can come up here and this cut can happen, which good job sliding over. That was a great adjustment to not allow that to happen. Force the disc to stay in her hands longer. I think I was back up, but force it to stay in her hands longer. And that was what contributed to the turnover. So that's great. Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work out. I'm not going to dig too much into like nuances of it. I'm going to try to keep this very specific to just fundamentals here. And I didn't see what happened there, so we're going to skip on past that. So right here, they're doing a sideline trap idea where, excuse me. So sideline trap where they're temporarily forcing right hand backhand, if that makes sense. So the force by light should be forcing away, forcing towards the camera. But by positioning here, you are absolutely being successful in creating a very narrow strip of open space. But the risk is if your team isn't ready for it, your team is going to be positioning themselves incorrectly now, suddenly, because now you're no longer defending the correct space because it's backwards. Which is what happens here. So, yeah, so this defender was in good position, but it just broke down. So everybody needs to be on the same page if that happens. Once again, I prefer to do a flat mark on top of it in those situations. Don't be afraid of it. There are a few players on Dark that I'm not sure if they're comfortable throwing flicks, and I think that is actually a problem that's causing us some turnovers. So that might be something worth practicing as well. Camera? All right. Something exciting happened. I think there was a foul called. Yeah, people are pointing. Yeah, so yeah, but getting that flick better is probably gonna help a lot too. So with as the mark then here, it's hard to mark well when you're tired, and I'm sympathetic to that. But for right here, we need to be very careful to not let this around happen, which that was not a good. Okay, so the mark right now is here, which means that we're conceding throws this way and around, and those throws are what's going to absolutely unwind a defense. So we need to be careful, especially because Gabe can kind of, he just steps out, throws a pass to the break side of the field, and that, that gets the defense out of position. Yep. So that was a good defense. Ideally, the mark would stop that, but the fact that that was a much more difficult throw than what most people are going to be comfortable with. So I'm actually I'm okay with that. Yeah, so the mark is here. So here, Elliott has to get low, get under, and, it's a lower percentage throw. So that's not, from a downfield defender's perspective, that's not a big deal. We're not forcing turns, we're forcing low percentage throws. Same thing there. Gabe just did a no-look lefty backhand through traffic, which, again, respect to Gabe for making that throw, but that's a lower percentage throw. So as a defense, I would call that a win as far as, we're forcing him to throw lower percentage throws. Yep, so right here, just to communicate the force, they're forcing right-hand flick, which means the defense is forcing home. All right, and that was just a quick turn. Rip. Oh, okay, I thought the disc was all the way over there. Yep, so we want to... Big thing is, get the disc off that sideline would make me a lot more comfortable. Ooh, looks like he almost caught it, though. And because this video is going a while, I'm going to stop after the first half. Again, I did not come in with a game plan, but because there's still 37 minutes, I'm not going to make this a 2-hour video. I will not do this to you, I promise. I'll have mercy upon you. So right here, we see our defense coming up with a home force, which is the correct force. So great job. And we see here, there's probably a cut that happened from it. But for an example here, there's a receiver here cutting into this open space, which means this throw can come up for free. And that's, that's just going to happen. And here, excuse me, the Gabe just threw a break side throw, but you see it's an inverted throw. It's high, it's floaty, it's harder to catch. So if there was a defender in that area, that defender could have contested that. So that's why we do these forces, because you can throw anywhere in the field at any time, because this is a game rigged for the offense. But a throw to the break side is going to be a worse throw from a technical perspective. It's going to be floaty, it's going to be inverted, it's going to be extra hard, it's going to be off platform. Those are the things that we're we're interested in keeping up. Yeah, so right here, this is a great mark for if I'm coaching a team, what I'm going to have my players do. We're forcing, light is forcing right-handed flick, therefore defense is, the force is away from the sideline up with our stuff on it. And instead of standing on, that side of the thrower, just standing straight in front of them, knowing that, you're not going to let the thrower do anything like this way. There's a wall in the way. It's just not going to happen. So stand just right in front of them. And so the open space now is pretty much here, which is A-okay by my book. That's, we're downfield. We're anticipating that. We're okay with that. Yeah, outstanding mark. That was an outstanding mark for holding the force. And, as the disc moves towards the away sideline, we are perfectly content with that. So right here, the force changes, and that was a hard defense. Oh, look at Chase. Chase apologizes for getting hit because he's a good dude. All right. Okay, Chase. All right. We'll learn fouls later. I guess I only saw it once, but it looked like to me like Chase got hit. It's okay. Oh, okay. Rip. Ignore my high pitched squeals. So right here, again, right-handed flick. I'll draw it up one more time here. So right-handed flick. So the force is away, which means that the break side or the closed side of the field is over here. And the open side of the field is over here. So as a mark, we are preventing any throws from going to this side of the field. We do not want throws, quality throws, to go any of these directions. All of these directions are what we as a mark want to take away. Throws to the open side of the field, we are perfectly content with letting those happen, and we're not going to directly contest these open side throws as a mark. We're not going to contest those. Yep. So that throw went up. The mark didn't even try to stop it. Good job. Yep. And that was a great cut by Chase. Just to show it one more time as we're swinging, and I can pay better attention to it. And maybe see this happen. Yeah. Oof. Okay. So right now, the open space is all of this. All of this is open space. And we see here, we have a receiver and the defender's behind him. So that if this receiver makes a cut into the open space, the defender is going to have to try to make up ground, which makes it very, very difficult. So this defensive positioning, what I would like to see then is this defender to be on the forced side of the receiver to prevent that from going up. Yep. And here, I like the discipline from Chase. He's not going to try to force anything upfield. If you're a cutter, there's nothing wrong. If you're not comfortable with your throws, just take the reset. No problem. Unfortunately, there's a turnover off camera, but turnovers will hurt you here. So right here, then the force is home. This is a great time for a defense then. Because we're forcing home, the open space is incredibly narrow. So from a defending perspective then, right now the defender is on the forced side of the receiver. So if the receiver wants to cut in and attack this open space, our defender is in front of it and can more easily, I can't draw an arrow to save my life, more easily take that away. And that's exactly what we want to see. That's great positioning. Yeah, outstanding positioning right here. Exactly what I want to see. That forced a scary backwards throw as well. That looked like it was going out of bounds. Yeah, that hit the net. Yep, so the force here forces away. You can see that the mark is getting in that space there to take that away. So the lane is super narrow. And this is actually a really good example of the worst case scenario from an offensive perspective. The defense has clamped down with the arms coming around here. So all of this really, maybe not all that, but all of this is break side space. Like all of here, no cuts can happen here, like anywhere here. So the open space is really just like here and there. So it's very difficult to get the disc off the sideline there. So if you ever have the disc on that forced sideline, you want to get it off as soon as possible to avoid this from happening, because that's a scary position to be in. And almost made a catch though. But yeah, so that was really just the defensive principles. Like why do we care so much about four side, open side, blah blah. It's you get turnovers like that happening, and that's what we love to see. So great job by Light. That's textbook on the type of turnovers and bad, low percentage throws you can generate by using good fundamentals. Yep, so working up the field before the defense gets down. I love to see that. Good open side throw. Good. That's very high in the stall count. Yeah, so that just had to come up. Ooh, crazy defense there. That throw is a little rushed, but again, I'm not here to nitpick too much. I'm really just trying to focus on the fundamentals and kind of ramble about anything. Yep, and another perfect example of what discipline from the defensive set can do. So this throw comes up pretty. This is a dangerous throw because there's a lot of distance this disc has to travel. The defenders definitely have a chance to get there in time. So here, the force is away. Right hand flick, away force. The mark is doing a great job functionally doing a straight up force. But basically the mark just has to say to him or herself, the disc cannot get thrown to this area. I have to make sure there's no good pass into any of this area. So, if they're going to throw something crazy over there, so be it. Yeah, so contesting that ends up trying to force it there, but you see that he had to reach all the way around him and throw it awkwardly. So the defense didn't generate this turnover. This defense successfully generated a low percentage throw, and then you just let statistics work in your favor, right? Just trust in the process. They got away with a couple earlier. They didn't this time because it's a low percentage throw. And that's how we trust the process, and that's how we generate those turnovers. So excellent job. And right here, we know the disc is starting. They're going to be forcing right-handed flick, which means that there's going to be a force home, and we're starting on the home sideline. So as a dark player, I'm saying to myself immediately, we are in a very dangerous position here. I want to get the disc off the sideline as fast as possible. So I want to see, even before the disc, actually it's a dead disc, so technically it should be moving, but when this comes in, maybe from here, make a cut around, offer a deep cut to clear some space. Just people need to be ready to attack this as fast as they can. Because right here, it's probably like stall 5, stall 6. The disc has to come up. There aren't any comfortable options, so it forced a low percentage throw, like I was saying. Low percentage throws work a low percentage of the time by definition. And that was a break side throw there. So right here, the force is away. But right here, we have a straight up mark. So this straight up mark means that there's open space here. Kind of difficult to see. I'll draw in a different color. There's open space here, and there's open space here. So as a defender, you're just downfield defender. It's just an impossible situation because you can cut anywhere at any time. So that's just unfortunate. So one thing I'm going to ramble at between this point and the other point is when a successful defense forces a low percentage throw, a low percentage is a very subjective term. Sometimes even, a 60, 70, 80% completion rate is low percentage because it's lower than what would have been a 100% throw. So again, as a defender, never be worried or discouraged about giving up points. It's going to happen. Just trust in the process. So, especially if I'm on the field and I'm defending against somebody a lot taller than me, it might be like, hey, they're going to score on me 8 out of 10 times, but those 2 out of 10 times, you know what I mean? That might be all we need to blow the game up. So, yeah, just trust in the process. Low percentage throws don't mean below 50%. They just mean below what the offense is comfortable with them being. And let's talk about what just happened there while I was running my mouth off topic here. That's slow picking up the disc. I would like to see a few more yards gained there personally, but that's okay. Yeah, great cut by Chase. And now we want to get the disc right off the sideline. Yep, Chase is doing a good job keeping his eyes up. Yeah, Chase doesn't have that flick, and we'll have to work on that. I say we as if I'm on the team. Good job getting it off the sideline. That was great. Right here, I want to give some credit. So to communicate once again, forcing right hand flick, which means it is an away force. And I'll draw it up one more time. Please forgive me if this is getting annoying. So it is an away force, which means from a mark's perspective, that was a horrible line I just drew. From a mark's perspective, then, this is the break side of the field. And all of this is the open side of the field. So the mark is going to let throws come off to this sideline. The thrower is going to let those throws happen, but the thrower is not going to let throws come up to this side of the field. So that downfield, then we know, if my receiver is right here, and I'm the defender, I'm saying to myself, if my receiver makes a cut towards the break side of the field, I have help, because it's not going to be a great throw. It's going to be floaty. I'm going to have extra time to get in there and catch up. However, if I'm the defender here, if my receiver makes a cut to the open side of the field, I'm on an island. The throw's going to come up, and it's going to be an accurate, controlled throw. So I want to respect that a ton and be in front of that at all times, so that the disc has to go through my body to get to that receiver. Yeah, Chase actually makes a really good break side cut here, because the defender left him. What actually could happen here, right here, Chase is poached. So Chase could offer a deep cut. Chase could come back in. I think that might have just been a drop, though. I think that's why Chase got looked off, because he saw the open throw. Unfortunate. It happens. As we get more comfortable and more experienced, we'll make a higher completion rate. So I'm not really gonna, I'm not gonna dog on anyone for that. That's totally okay. So that's how we learn. That's how we grow. So right here, they should be forcing a right-handed flick. So this should be an away force. Yep. So going downfield here, then. Sorry, I rewinded too far. Just bear with me here. So as you're coming downfield, then, what could have helped this cut, this deep cut, the throw went up for? We're going to pretend like this mark didn't. We're not going to talk about the mark here, because we've talked about marks a lot. So right here, we have a receiver making a cut in open space. The disc is about here-ish off camera. So visually, then we can look upfield and know this is the break side of the field. This is the open side of the field. So if we can get, and our defender is on the break side of us. So if we can push this defender over, we can get right back in here. And this is a very, very dangerous position from a defender's perspective. So right here, I would love to see, I think it's Chase. I have a hard time identifying people. I think it's because of the resolution. I'm pretty sure it's Chase. I would love to see Chase put on the brakes here and make a cut into that open side of the field. Chase did a good job pulling the defender away. But yeah, so that would be a place for a thrower's perspective too. As a thrower, we throw to space. We don't throw to people. So if we can throw it, even just throw the disc over here and let our receiver go in there and make a play. Because this throw comes back to the break side, and that's why the defender got there. But yeah, if the throw would have been over here, there's a high chance that would have been a completion, because honestly, there are a few people in the league that can keep up with Chase when he's running. And if Chase is here and the defender's here, I mean, Chase wins that foot race, 97 out of 100 times. Yeah, Chase is fast, so he's gonna get that catch. So this is a coaching point, not just taking advantage of the open space in the field. This game is all about space. So forcing right-handed flick. This is a home force that we're putting up. Outstanding mark right there. And caused a turnover. That was a scare. Oh, okay, that worked. Yeah, great. Great. So now coming down, Dark is going to be forcing right-hand flick, which means Dark is going to be forcing away towards the camera. Yep, you can see right there, away force towards the camera. And yeah, and they were trying to work it up that narrow sideline, which made it very, very difficult for them to work with. So the big coaching point here, a lot of communication on offense, just being comfortable with where people are going to cut. Because definitely, Dan's team here, you guys did a great job forcing turnovers. Just unfortunately, I think right here, the score's so open because you were just unable to capitalize on those. Oh, that was a double team. If there are two people within 10 feet, you're not allowed to be stalling. Ooh, that was very comfortable upfield. That was a really good offense. Taking advantage of open space as you went. I don't really want to... Yeah, just taking advantage of open space. I'm pretty sure there was a poach during this, wasn't there? Someone was poached because if there's ever a double team. Yep, so Chase got to that open side of the field then. Right there, the other team is forcing home so that we know then the thrower's here. All of this is the open side, and all of this is the break side of the field. So by Chase getting open and cutting then to that open side of the field, easy touchdown because the throw can come up for free. So that's really great job. Yep, so once again, right-handed flick, the force is home. So downfield, we are protecting, let me draw that. Downfield, this is the space that we as downfield defenders do not want our receiver to get there first. This is the finish line, and it's just a foot race. So we're going to position ourselves on that side of our receiver to not let that go up. So great job. When that happens, then we are, just letting them reset that stall count for free. One thing to consider, and this is a good handler coaching point, if I can get a good pause here. Okay, so as a handler, it can be tempting to want to play very off of your receiver here. Just be careful when you do so. If you're doing it to take away space, like right here. Right here, we have our defender who's poaching off of, this is him, this is his receiver, so he's far off of him, and this can be a great play to make, because you can take away some of that open space. However, when the disc is on the forced side of the field, I personally will never prefer my team to do that. I want to see very tight, aggressive, close defense, because this is the time that we cash in all of that positional momentum, if you will, that we've built up. All of this advantage that we have, all of these, very narrow lanes to work with. If we're poaching off right now, we're going to concede that. In a couple days, once the game that I was in came up, there was an example that I did where I poached the lane, and I'll actually reference this, and I'll explain why some situations are better than others. But right here, if you're going to poach, then you need to poach, you need to commit to poaching. The issue right now with this positioning, and again, I'm not dogging on anybody. This is a learning opportunity, so please don't take this as a personal attack. Once again, I already said it, but I do genuinely mean it. This is in no way trying to call anybody out. So the open space is probably there and there right now. So if you're going to poach off of your receiver as a defender, you need to be committing to this poach. You need to actually be standing in the open space to take this away. The thing that some people have when they're learning to do this, and it's difficult because you're in this position, but you're actually in the closed side of the field. So all of this space here is break side of the field. So you're poaching the break side. So the only throws that are going to come up that you're actually in a position to body are ones that are going to be over the mark anyway. And that's a success if that throw comes up. So if you're going to, there's a video by Eric. Early recognition is critical. Like, I think the guy's name is Mario. He does a really good job. I might link it in the description. But it's called diving the lane. If you're going to dive the lane, and again, I just explained, in this situation, I would not prefer it. But if you're going to dive the lane, you need to come all the way in and dive into that lane and get all the way in there. Because right here, you're kind of in no man's land where you're not guarding your receiver and you're not taking away the space. So this ends up just being an issue, which the throw did come up scary there. But what a team's going to generally do then is in that position after this comes up here. I always rewind too far. I'm the worst. I'm sorry. Right here then, a veteran thrower will recognize this and just take this free around, and you've kind of let them off the hook. You let them out of jail, because right now the offense is in the doghouse. They're in a very dangerous spot. They're trapped against that forced sideline. There's very narrow lanes. As a defense, we want to keep them, lock them in purgatory as long as possible, force as many low percentage throws as possible. Which, to you guys' credit, you did force a low percentage throw in. Oh, it worked, but again, that was a low percentage throw. So, it's okay. Sorry if I'm clicking too loud, too. Okay, so what I just saw right here, yeah, so it was a brick because it hit the wall, and the wall is an out of bounds object. So right here, we have a handler that is poached. And unfortunately then right here, then there are two spaces as a handler. If you're poached, you want to attack. You can either make a strike. I drew that horribly. You can either make a strike cut, which I still drew it horribly. It's okay. So you can make a strike cut and gain yards upfield, or you could come around and try to get the disc. Ideally, actually, like come behind and catch the disc here and get the disc more to the break side of the field, because we want to stay on the break side. The break side is the safe side of the field as an offense to be on. But he came up here, and by positioning himself behind the mark, it means that in order to get the disc here, even if you try to, the throw would have to be above or under or around. It's very difficult throw to get off. Yeah, so as a handler receiver, this isn't an inherently terrible position. It's okay to be a little bit up line, but the space that you want to be ready to go is that strike cut. And if that strike cut doesn't come off, you can either clear, or you can slam on the brakes and come right back from hence you came to get that nice around. Just as a coaching point. And just because I was kind of going a little hard on the other time, to give an example of when a defense would want to dive the lane. This is an example of how far are we in? We're an hour in. So okay, I'll try to be quick here. So right here, the defense can dive the lane. Here is an example where this defender would come out all the way here and position himself right here, so that basically instead of this being the open space becomes this, which is, basically nothing. And that's what is so dangerous about it. However, you're going to be conceding a free throw if the mark holds and the throw can't come around. I will generally do this if the receiver is on the force side. So pretend this receiver is standing right here. Like, this is our receiver. I'm gonna draw a person here as horrible person. Okay. If this is the receiver over here, and I'm a defender and I'm standing here, I might actually just completely dive the lane, come all the way up here, and stand right here to take away everything, even though I'm Slender Man, So that basically what I'm saying is, hey, I'm giving you this free throw, but then when that throw happens, I'm full sprinting over there. Because remember what I've been saying this whole game, when the disc is on the forced sideline, it's very dangerous for the offense. So by diving the lane and getting the disc to the forced sideline, before I dove the lane, this was the open space all the way over here. But after I dove the lane, this is the open space. It's much smaller. So that's the idea behind it. But again, in that situation, I wouldn't dive the lane. I was trying to give the counter example to that. That was a break side that went up. So the force here is going to be a force home right-hand flick. That was a right-hand flick that went up. Did not work out. It happens. Yep, so right-hand flick would make it a force away. And I think the disc got turned over. Never mind. So right here, force is home, but it's on the sideline, and that's kind of a sideline force. Let that throw come up. Okay. That was a force side throw, even though the whole field was the force side, which is tricky. And that was a good look. Good look there. I think this is probably going to be the last point. Yeah, it's tip of the circle. I see you there. I see they're trying to cheese a couple extra yards. I'm just playing with you. But yeah, no. Green's offense has gotten a lot better for the second half of this half. So really good job, good effort there. Definitely something to appreciate. And that is an example, a perfect example of why we trust the process to force low percentage throws, even though it's not, he's a great thrower. That throw might even be a greater than 50% chance. But if you're going to let a huge hammer, cross-field hammer, your downfield defenders have so much time to, recover from their position, come over and read it, position it, high point it. It ends up becoming a Hail Mary kind of 50-50 kind of situation. So that's what we want to see. Also, it's much more difficult to throw that accurately because there is a defender in your face. That is trusting the process. A lot of people aren't comfortable throwing flicks, and that's been causing a lot of difficulties here. Yep, so right here now the disc is back on the forced sideline because the force is away. And that was what forced the low percentage throw. Unfortunate. Oh, rip. All right, and then we're kind of in junk time here with 4, 3, 2, 1, which is fine. He needs to put the disc up though. That's okay. Cool. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Since we're already an hour and 8 minutes into this. So, if you stuck through the whole thing, thanks for watching. If there's any questions that you have, feel free to ask me in person at the next game. Leave a comment. If there's anything I said that you disagree with, feel free to post it in the comments. Don't be mean about it, but I'll definitely welcome conversation with it. The biggest thing, hopefully this can be, is just a learning opportunity for different defensive concepts. What is an open side? What is a forced side? When do we force home? When do we force away? How does that influence where we are downfield? So, I hope it helps. I don't think Dan's team is absolutely terrible or anything, even though they lost the game. We all learn it, and it's just part of it. So, hopefully this helped. Thanks.